When it comes to Claire Cameron, one of y'all is a liar. And let me tell y'all why. So one of them is a liar because on the after party, okay, and the after party was a little dry. They still with this good piece of tea right here. Okay, we got the tea with the tea tonight. So on the after party, Claire said she was really trying to make it work with Cameron to the point where she was even going to try to sleep with him. Like one night she was, desperate, asking all the other couples for help. And they was like, maybe you just sleep with him, girl. And who said that? She said who said it. But anywho, excuse me. So she tried to one night they haven't all been drinking or whatever. He was at the house. He didn't go. It was off camera. And she tried to initiate sex with him and he refused and said, nah. And then she tried to talk about it, I guess, and he didn't want to talk about it on camera. And she felt like, I'm so embarrassed to even talk about it. And so they Hey everybody, welcome back to the Brandy Yvonne channel. Of course, I'm your girl, Brandy Yvonne. Here on my channel, we do fun reviews, recaps, and discussions of all of our favorite shows, y'all. It's Wednesday night. By the time y'all watch this, though, it'll probably be Thursday. Anyway, we gotta talk about Lifetime's Married at First Sight, Season 17, Episode 11, Taking it Day by Day. Before we get into it, thank y'all for hitting that subscribe button, continuing to like the content over here. Don't forget to comment down below. Let me know what y'all thought of this episode. I'm going to tell y'all what I think. Also, don't forget to share the video where you'd like to share your content. I was looking at my analytics and y'all be sharing the video. Shout out to y'all. If you're a new subscriber, comment and let me know. Say, hey, give me a shout out. Some of y'all been doing that, but I haven't got a shout out lately. So don't forget to shout it out when you subscribe, y'all. For those who don't know we hit our milestone of 400. We're trying to hit more milestones, okay? So we got to make it happen, y'all. But I appreciate all of y'all. Thank y'all for those who prayed for me because I was sick last week, y'all. I still got a little bit of congestion, so if my voice sounds different, that is the reason why. But let's get into this video because it's real late on a Wednesday night. But I'm still on my winter break, so, I'm staying up. I ain't got nothing to do. Anywho. Now, this episode, I almost didn't even do this review for this episode because it was giving absolutely nothing. I am glad that some of these couples are, calling it quits. But this is a sad season, y'all. I hate to say this is one of the worst seasons because I haven't watched every season. I only really started watching since San Diego, okay? So I don't know all the seasons like that. I heard, what's the season everybody be talking about that's real good? Is it the New Orleans or the Houston one? I got to go back and watch some of the old ones one day when I don't got nothing else to do. But anywho, this season right here, I don't even know. Every episode is just, oh, child. Truth is I'm tired, okay? And Emily is tired. Claire and Cameron are tired. Anyway, like I said, let me know what y'all think of the episode. Let's get into this review real quick. Excuse me, y'all. I'm still coughing. That's why I'm drinking my tea, okay? Because I know them last two reviews I did, I feel like I was strangling. So the episode started out with Emily and Brennon. They were talking about, they was making pizza. First of all, I hope to God they wash their hands. And they're talking about, this is something fun to do, take their mind off of what happened last night with Dr. Pia. And Emily's like, I know you don't like therapy, Brennon, but I feel like, it's going to be good. It's going to help. We definitely need to see some change. We need to see some growth. He's still claiming he want to take it day by day. That's what he said every time. Hence the name of the episode, right? He said something about the whole physical touch thing because I guess Dr. Pia had told them, they played the clip, but Dr. Pia told them to touch each other from head to toe with as minimal clothing on as they feel comfortable with. Excuse me, Brennan didn't like the idea. He thought it was weird to touch. So he said, how about we work on hugging each other and how we hug it out right now? I think that's essentially the same thing Dr. Pia was saying, Brennan. But, Brennan don't want a woman telling him what to do. So anywho, he kept challenging Dr. Pia. They decide to, do more physical touch and have more fun, Then we see Michael talk with the experts. So the experts come down. Dr. Pepper looked distressed in her face. Was it just me? They go down. They finally showed up to work. I'm thinking they don't, excuse me, y'all, I'm coughing a lot. They don't spend a lot of time in Denver. But anywho, they go down, and Dr. Pepper's like, I feel so bad because I'm one of the ones that matched him up, and talking about Michael, and I don't know, like, how this is not going to work out. And Dr. Peter's like, well, you don't know what's going to happen. So they brought Michael in. They told Michael, they sorry. He was a good match, but, the lady didn't even participate. Thank you to the person on Twitter. I forgot your Twitter name, but shout out to you because she sent me the picture of the young lady who was supposed to be paired with Michael. I should put in the video for y'all. I'll put it in the video for y'all. I'll do it. So anywho, Michael said he did, he didn't get mad in the moment, but he did cry a little bit when he went upstairs, and he felt bad, and he felt like, what was it about him that the girl didn't like? And there's experts basically telling him like it wasn't you, it was her. And Pastor Cal said, you really are a king. You handled everything very well. And so they said, while we're still in Denver, because they're gonna change cities next season. If you interested, we can match you with somebody else. So he said he was interested. And let's just clear Michael's storyline on out. So later on, we did see Michael go meet with his friends, and he was telling them about the meeting with the experts and how they basically took accountability for the situation. And he kind of was testing the water with them, like, okay, so what if, they could get me with somebody else? And they were like, I don't know, because, like, we saw you go through it the way you went through it. We not sure. And then Dr. Pepper, she crashed the party, and she was talking to them. And so the one friend was like, what he said that he felt like this was the biggest failure of his life, and I don't want him to feel that way again, and all that stuff. And so, they were showing, basically reassuring him like, okay, you had nothing to do with this girl, jilting you at the altar. And so basically Dr. Pepper let them know, like, we got you somebody else in Denver, so we're going to get it popping once again. Now, my thing is this. I'm all for giving Michael a second chance. However, we're like 31 days to decision day now, and we got 2 weeks before Michael gets married. So if we got 2 more weeks before Michael gets married, the couples here are halfway through the process. By the time we get to Michael gonna barely be starting the process. Are we gonna have to finish out the season with Michael's process? Like, how's this gonna work? Don't drag out this Denver season. Lifetime people, do not drag out this Denver season so we can see everything that happens with Michael and Chloe. We don't need that. We didn't ask for that. Y'all should have got it right the first time. Y'all might as well scrap this season because y'all got it all wrong. Because while y'all feeling bad about Michael, you need to be feeling bad about every single couple you matched this season, because they all were not good matches. None of them. What we down to 2? And Brennon and Emily about to fall apart any day now. And Becca and Austin hanging on by a thread. So no, we do not stretch out the season for Michael. Good for Michael. Get him somebody else. He could just, we'll see him through his honeymoon and maybe a couple weeks of marriage. But don't stretch out the season for Michael. Do not do that, Lifetime people. Anyway, well, good for you, Michael. All right, so then we do see Becca and Austin. Becca sitting there crying with them big old eyes. And, she's crying because her and Austin had to talk about religion. And basically Austin was saying something about she going to be going to hell because she don't believe in Jesus Christ, her Lord and Savior, okay? So she was on the after party, and she explained the context of the conversation. So Austin was online using Becca's computer design hats. And he was doing one with like a cross. And somehow they got on topic about religion and going to hell and heaven and all that. And so he said, like, okay, if you go to hell, Becca, I'm still going to love you regardless, even though I know you went to hell in the afterlife. Now, first of all, we don't know how it's going to go in the afterlife. I mean, we can read the Bible. The Bible does make some things clear, but we don't naturally know, like Pastor Cal said, because we haven't experienced it, right? So you don't know what you're going to feel when it happens, Austin. I kind of wish he didn't even say that. That's a weird statement to make. And like I told y'all a couple reviews ago, Austin is not comfortable about that religion thing. He is not comfortable being married to someone that does not have the same faith as him. And that's okay. And he could say no on decision day. And as far as I'm concerned, people need to have the same faith. So you need to be evenly yoked. You need to have the same foundation at the end of the day. It does matter, in my opinion. So they get on the line with Pastor Cal, and they tell him about the conversation. And he asks Becca, do you believe in hell? She said no. She's agnostic. She likes being agnostic. She likes believing in all the possibilities could be right. Okay, girl. People believe what they believe, y'all. So he's basically kind of challenging Austin, like, okay, there's people who believe as Jesus is their Lord and Savior, but they out here wilding out, doing the wrong things, which is true, which is very, very true. And he says one thing to believe in God is another thing to believe, put into Jesus Christ principles, which is very true. You do have to believe that God is, God is God and Jesus is your Savior. However, you also have to have obedience, I forgot what did the people say? Is better obedience is better than sacrifice, I think is the phrase that people say. So anyway, yeah, your obedience counts as well. And so he said, do you believe that, Becca has good, he talked about Becca's good morals and stuff, and her friend talked about it later on too. And so, he said, to say like, okay, what if somebody was born in Afghanistan and they never had the chance to, learn about God? Does that mean they're going to hell? Now, I don't know. That's a question I have. I don't know. We don't know how it works. Like Pastor Cal said, none of us know. And he said, are you open to learning about other things? And because Becca was saying that's basically what he was saying. He learned in his church, is that about Becca's going to hell. And Austin was like, oh, my church, we welcome LGBTQ people. We welcome all kind of stuff. And he said, they've been talking about how like different principles of Christianity, Judaism, and Islam align too. So he's open to other things. He's open to learning about other possibilities and broadening his mind on the subject. And then I don't know if it was that conversation or the conversation with a friend. He said something about maybe in that regard he's agnostic as well. And I didn't like that statement either. Like, you don't have to back down on your views, Austin, to appease somebody else. And I kind of wish Austin took a different approach with Becca. Is it just me? Like, maybe invite her to a church service, or if that's too much, maybe invite her to like an event your church is having, or invite her to hang out with you and some of your Christian friends. Like, maybe ease her into it a little bit better. And then while we're on the subject of that, as y'all know, I like to jump around. So, later on we did see Austin. Well, after they got off the line with Pastor Cal, let me not jump too far ahead. They got off the line with Pastor Cal, and Becca was like, okay, like, well, he was saying, like, I think there's stuff you wanted to say, but you didn't really want to say it. And then she was like, yeah, well, like, I feel like you're not really, he's like, you want me to answer your question about religion right now? I don't have an answer for you. I don't know right now. It's going to take time. And she's like, well, you're not even making time. He's like, when do I have time, basically? And then she's like, the thing is like, I want you to make the whole thing of talking to other people about it and figuring it out a priority. Because she's like, it's a deal breaker for her if, like, he believes she's going, like, if he's like, oh, you're going to hell, Becca, then she ain't trying to be married to him. At the end of the day, we're not God, so we can't condemn nobody to heaven and hell. First of all, okay? That's bottom line. We can't say, we can't say who's going to heaven or hell at the end of the day, because we are not in that position. So that's why I wish Austin would not have even said that. Later on, we do see Austin talk to Becca's friend. I want to say it was Lindsay or somebody. Child, who knows? And, Austin wanted to get her perspective because she grew up Catholic, and the whole thing about hell. She says she doesn't really believe about hell, but she does believe, like, if you've been doing bad things and killing people and doing all these kind of stuff, sinning your whole life, you could be, once in the afterlife, yeah, you could be separated from God. But, Becca is someone who has good morals, ethics. She wants to, do good, you know, stand up for people. Those are things that are Christ-like. So she's like, I don't think in that regard that Becca will be, you know, going to hell. And so Austin doesn't think that either. And she also assured Austin that Becca's actually willing to move closer to him when it comes to that discussion. So I think Becca is open. I think she doesn't want to be like, she said she doesn't like when people try to convert her or whatever that is. I think there's a way he can show her God without like trying to convert her per se. You know, we're not trying to convert people, you know. He can still show her. I think he needs to think about other ways that he can kind of naturally show her the love of Jesus in that way is what I think Austin should do. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Do y'all think it could work that they're different religion? Let me know in the comments. Anywho. Oh, and then when they was getting ready for dinner, she did thank him for talking to her friend. Also, while we're on Becca and Austin, and we could just clear them out before we get to this group dinner. They want to do ice skating. Now, I want to go skating, but I don't want to do no ice skating. I want to do roller skating. And so, you know, Becca was using a little kitty thing. And they were talking afterward, roasting marshmallows. And she said she's happy to be married to him. And he's happy to be married to her. And she's glad that, you know, even that, she said most guys in the past have been like yes men. And they would just say whatever she wanted to hear. But she's glad that he's standing on his moral and values and whatever it is he feels about the Christianity thing, and not just swaying one way or other because of her influence. And so, you know, they're happy they made it through their 1 month anniversary, and they're hoping to make it through, you know, many more milestones and all that. Earlier, they had also watched their video of their wedding day because, you know, all the couples are celebrating their 1 month anniversary, and that's what production gave them to do. We didn't see what Brennon and Emily did. Brennon and Emily, speaking of Brennon and Emily, let's get back to them. So we also see Brennon and Emily they're celebrating their 1 month anniversary. And so they said they were going to go horseback riding. So they go horseback riding in the snow. And Brennan's horse is named Gucci, and he really bonded with Gucci. And Emily was like, wow, like, that's cute to see him bond with the horse, but, like, he really took to this horse, like, quicker than he's bonding with me. Like, she's kind of like, that's a little strange. Yeah, Brennan liked that horse more than he liked Emily. Sad. Then we do see Brennan and Emily go to dinner or lunch, wherever they was at. And so they were talking about their situation, and she was saying how, like, the first week it was hard with them moving in and all that, but now, you know, she feels like things could get better, they're improving, and he's like, yeah, I just want to take it day by day. Again, she's frustrated with him saying the day by day thing. I'm tired of it too, girl. Then she was like, okay, so what did you do in the past relationships when things weren't working out? Did you run or whatever? And so he said, yeah, typically he would run. As soon as he seen a red flag, he'd be out the door. So she's like, okay, so my red flag. So then he was like, he said yes. But he said this is a different kind of process, and he wants to put the work in. He doesn't want to give up. He has to approach it differently. You know, he's like, you know, if something is hard when you once had something and now it fizzles out, and he wants to know why. You know, he's like, I don't know if it fizzled out, if it was just adrenaline. I think he had adrenaline. I don't think he ever, like, liked her in that way. I think it was his adrenaline. So anyway, of the, you know, whole married at first sight process, because in the beginning, everyone's excited, everybody like each other. You know, it's good. I mean, unless they're not physically attracted to each other, then that's pretty clear from the beginning. But, you know, yeah. But, you know, I mean, now he ain't physically attracted to her, so I don't know. Seems like he liked her in the beginning, though, so I don't know. Anywho, it's that party girl stuff. Once that party girl stuff came out, he became unattracted to her. See, and that's all. So, then she was like, okay, but, like, with your past relationships, like, how did you deal with that? So he's like, you know, I just, you know, this is not the same as those type of relationships. And he's like, I'm just trying to take it day by day. And bye, Brennan. She's like, I don't know anything anymore. Okay. So then let's talk about Claire and Cameron, y'all. So, you know what? The best thing these two did was finally call it quits. So I'm gonna have to give them that. Claire and Cameron go. They're trying to take Dr. Peter's advice, and they go to do the what is that thing they did? The like indoor skiing kind of thing. I've never done that. I've never done any kind of skiing, I don't think. No. So they go do that, and so they're trying to have more fun. And so Claire did the thing where she like went in between his legs and all that, and she did it. So they were talking afterward, and she said that, she thinks that they need to, of course, they need to talk about the topics they're divided on, but they need to have more fun. They need to really plan and schedule it. Cameron don't want to like be penciling in, first Tuesday of the month is for fun. He don't want to do all that, but he's willing to try. But again, they can't get on the same page. Same old with them, right? So then later on, we do see Lauren and Orion. So Lauren goes to talk to Claire, and Orion goes to talk to Cameron. And basically, Cameron is like, oh, I'm happy to hear Orion's perspective because he really advocated for himself and made the best decision for him. And I feel like I need to do that. And he's telling Orion, like, every time I feel like every time he want to leave, something keeps pulling him back. Okay. And, he feels like he's getting reeled back in. So Orion's like, well, what's reeling me back in? And so Cameron's basically like, well, she could say something or do something that like pulls me back in. So he hangs on to that little thing that pulls him back in. So Orion's like, you need to not let yourself get pulled back in, Cameron's like, I feel like, should I just give up now? Because I don't want to get further in. And, what he's been saying. And so Orion's like, I feel like you need to cut it off now because if you keep getting yourself pulled back in, you're going to get kind of, buckled at the knees, cut off at the knees kind of thing. Like, basically, it's going to be worse. Like, it's going to be swept from under you kind of thing. I get what Orion's saying, but first of all, we're not taking no advice from Orion. Why is Orion even on my screen? Like, I don't want Orion's advice. Orion can go back home to his mama's basement. We don't want to hear from Orion. So Orion's like, you need to, just cut it off now. So he said, I know if I even try to cut it off. Cameron said, I know if I even try to cut it off, she's going to say, oh, no, I want to try now. So he don't know if he should. Again, we're not taking advice from Orion. Anyway, Lauren says she ain't spoke to Orion. They been giving each other space, so she's doing well. She's telling Claire opposite advice, basically like, don't give up. Like, it's going to suck more if you don't even try. Like, you're going to always wonder why, you want to give up, to take control. But it's better to just, like, go through the whole process. And which I agree. Well, no, I don't agree. When it comes to Claire Cameron, first of all, one of y'all is a lie. When it comes to Claire Cameron, one of y'all is a liar. And let me tell y'all why. So one of them is a liar because on the after party, okay, and the after party was a little dry. They served this good piece of tea right here. Okay, we got the tea with the tea tonight. So, on the after party, Claire said she was really trying to make it work with Cameron to the point where she was even going to try to sleep with him. Like, one night she was, desperate, asking all the other couples for help. And they was like, maybe you just sleep with him, girl. And who said that? She said who said it. But anywho, excuse me. So, she tried to, like, one night they haven't all been drinking or whatever. He was at the house. He didn't go. It was off camera. And she tried to initiate sex with him, and he refused and said, nah. And then she tried to talk about it, I guess, and he didn't want to talk about it on camera. And she felt like, I'm so embarrassed to even talk about it. And so then Keisha Knight Pulliam was like, well, girl, when was this in the process? Because... girl, he said that he be trying to touch you or you didn't find him attractive and he feels like he's been trying, so maybe he didn't give up. And so Claire's like, I don't understand how he's saying this, like he's been trying and he's saying all these other things on camera because off camera, he don't be wanting to touch me. He don't be, he wasn't trying to have sex with me. He doing all this. Now, remember last week, Cameron gave a whole different story, right? Was that last week? Cameron said that Claire basically be like, don't touch me, or a couple weeks ago, really. Claire be like, no touching and all that. So one of y'all is a lie. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think is going on with Claire and Cameron. I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. And I feel like they kind of just kept missing each other. I don't want to discount both of their experiences. Now Claire did say that she has a problem with affection in public with past guys, and past guys wouldn't want to take her out in public, so I don't know. But then Cameron be telling stories too. See, I don't know. Y'all. Them two a piece of work. So, Claire got a text from Cameron saying he ain't coming home. Okay. After he talked to Orion. Okay. So then I guess he went back to his apartment. So then it came time for the 1 month anniversary. Sorry. Came time for the 1 month anniversary. And they said they're not really celebrating anniversary like that because for them, they've been separated a few days. It's just too much to be talking about an anniversary. All right, let's get down to this dinner. So we get down to the dinner. We see Claire getting dressed by herself at the house. Now, Brennon, I already knew Brennon was going to be on some BS because he came over there with a sweat jacket and a t-shirt on, and everybody else was dressed nice. Like, Becca was dressed, okay? She looked good. Claire had on her little red dress. Emily had on her red dress. The men had on shirts that button down. Like, Brennon, you're giving I don't care. And that's the problem. Is that you're giving very much I don't care. So anyway, they go down to dinner. They had tequila shots. They sat at the table. Becca asked, what would you tell yourself before the process? Like, what advice would you give yourself? Emily said, like, she told herself she's going to ride the waves, but she should ride the ripples too. They supposed to be going around in a circle. So she turns to Brennon, like, you next. He said he gonna pass. So she's already irritated, like, okay, he ain't saying nothing. He's still, not giving nothing. He still mumbles the word. So then I think Austin went next. He said something about being more emotional, and he feels like Becca's really good at that. Becca said, yeah, it's gonna be good times, bad times, and yeah, Austin does good with his emotions. We've been through some stuff, some deep crying stuff. We working through it. It's gonna be good. Cameron said, I don't remember what Cameron's advice was to himself. He said, I guess like expect the worst or something like that. I don't remember what he said, y'all. Claire said, there's no handbook for marriage and it can be really hard. And, we don't know what we're getting ourselves into, blah, blah, blah. So then somehow Brennon asked them about, like, okay, well, how are y'all doing? And, like, are y'all still together? And she said they are still together because when she was talking, she's reflecting on what they were going through. And so Cameron said, we're still together right now, but Cameron said they've had a hard time getting on the same page, basically. He used all his fancy words. So, Claire said they're both having a hard time, like, expressing exactly what they want and being clear about what they want. Claire did say that she's been the confusing one and she feels bad because she's kind of been the one not being clear, not sure how she feels, and she does need to take some, be a little selfish and figure out what she's feeling, and she's just been self-reflecting and she's figuring it out. Okay, girl. So then Emily's like, okay, well, maybe y'all need to ask her a different way. Like, what do you want? What do you want? So then Cameron is like, okay, let's do this. At the count of 3, we're going to both say what we want. Either you want to get a divorce or you want to make it work. And so then everybody's like, oh, no, it's too much. It's too much. It's not what we wanted to do. And so Emily's like, oh, my God, this is not what I was saying. Like, this is not a game. Oh, my God. Like, that's too much. So then, excuse me. So then Cameron's like, okay, here we go. The count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Cameron said, I want a divorce. Claire said, I want to be separated. I feel like Claire was trying to soften her below. Girl, you want a divorce. Just say you want a divorce. Claire, you don't like that man. It's okay. Claire, you never gave the feeling like you like Cameron. So that's why I can't fully rock with everything Claire said either, because, girl, you never made it like you liked him. Now, on camera, you never made it like you liked him. I will say, at least on camera, we could tell that Cameron did like Claire. But both of y'all full of it. So Cameron's like, there you go. We're going to say the same thing. There you go. And so everybody's like, oh, dang. And Brennon was like, well, y'all got your answer. So that was that. And so Claire, basically said they didn't regret it. They're glad, they met each other. And Austin was saying, well, you guys are handling it very maturely. It's good you guys can still be friends. And Cameron then tears up and tells us a story about, he's like, don't get mad, but, 3 years ago, my dog was going to pass away, and I had the decision to put him down that day or wait a few days and put him down. And I would never regret those days. And that's the same way I feel about you, Claire. I said, about your dog that passed away? Okay, Cameron. So anywho, Cameron always got these dramatic stories. Is it just me? Or do Cameron always got these dramatic stories? So anywho, that reminded me of side note story, y'all. So this one time, this student, he was not in my class, but he was in my department. Okay. He was a special needs student, but way higher functioning than my students. So anywho, he was like, he came up to me in my class and, oh, I forgot to tell you about something that happened the other day. I was like, oh, what? Like, what are you about to tell me? Oh, yeah, my dog passed away. I was like, oh, really? I'm sorry to hear that. Like, when did that happen? He was like, oh, it was 3 years ago, but, I still miss her. It's right here. I was like, okay, I feel that. I was like, why you come tell me that random information? That's what Cameron was reminding me of that moment. Anywho, Claire was basically saying, like, she doesn't have any regrets. Cameron has taught her so many things about herself that she didn't even, realize. And Cameron, appreciates the time they sit together. They're going to be friends, all that good stuff. So then Claire and Cameron was sitting there like, now mind you, everybody getting their appetizers, they eating, they doing all that, right? And so Claire and Cameron, they looking over, well, Brennon asked, like, so what would you do, like, if you could go back, what would you have done differently, right? Now I'm like, Brennon, you ain't got nothing to say, but you asking questions, right? So then Cameron was like, I feel like it's your turn to answer that now. Like, yeah, because you ain't answered the question. So then Brennon was like, I think I would have maybe, like, try to open up more or something, I don't know. Like, maybe, I don't know, I could open up or something. So then Emily's getting even more pissed, and he's like, I'm just trying to take it day by day, though. I'm just trying to take it day by day. And he's like, I appreciate you, Emily, letting me open up when I can and say what I gotta say. And so Austin's like, oh, that's good. And she's like, yeah. So then she irritated. Now, then they bring out the food. Y'all see that food? Y'all see that big old steak that Cameron had? I said, that food was looking good. Now, mind you, when Claire and Cameron, finally called it quits, Brennon and Emily was sitting there looking like, should we do this same game? Brennon had to look on his face like, let's do the same 1, 2, 3 decision. Like, let's do it. But I didn't do it. So I was like, they about to do the same thing. Clara asked Emily and Brennon, like, well, how are you guys doing? You guys are, what's going on with you guys? Do you guys feel like you guys have a real chance? Oh, yeah, by the way, Emily had asked something like, what are you going to do moving forward for the next month? And that's how they got on the topic of Claire and Cameron calling it quits. Anywho, Emily's like, oh, like, way to stir the pot, Claire. Like, way to stir the pot, girl. She's like, I'm going to let you answer that, Brennon. So, Brennan's like, I don't know. We're just trying to take it day by day. So now Emily's really, really pissed. So then she was like, I'm going to the bathroom. He's like, you want me to walk you out? She said, no, you need to stay right here. See, he wanted to walk her out so he can get in her ear and tell her not to embarrass him on camera like he do. That's what he's about to do. But I'm glad she finally stood up for herself. Emily, just stand up for yourself, girl. Stand up for yourself to this man. So she goes out. Claire goes out. Cameron looking confused. Claire goes to talk to her. And she was like, Claire's like, if he's not really liking you like that, girl, and he's not saying nothing, you need to leave. You need to go. And Emily's like, the thing is, like, I actually care for him. Like, I just wish he would do something, say something. Like, he's not showing me anything. And I feel so stupid. Like, when am I going to wake up? Like, I feel bad. Like, why am I still here? And we're like, girl, that's what we all been trying to tell you, girl. Why are you still there? So she's like, I don't know. Claire's trying to get her to give up. Like, her And she's like, no, I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to give up. And so then, now, mind you, Claire is whispering on camera like, we can't hear her. And I'm like, Claire, why are you whispering, girl? We can all hear you. So then she goes to whisper to Brennon. And I'm like, girl, why are you whispering? So she goes to whisper to Brennon. And she's telling him, like, you know, she's really likes you. She's really upset. You need to go talk to her. So then Brennon in the confession, like, I don't really know what to do, but, you know, I do care for her, so I'm going to go after her. Like, oh, my God. So then he's like, can you tell me why you upset? Why you upset? They get in some SUV. They didn't even ride back with the couples in the party bus or the van or whatever. And she's like, you couldn't tell I was so angry at the table. I was so upset that she's ready to flip her did. He was like, no, I couldn't tell. He said she always acts like everything's okay. Well, she kind of has been, but come on, bro. Like, come on. So then he's like, no, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, I know you want more and you're putting so much into this and I'm not. And this is the best I can do right now. And this is basically, I'm giving you the best that I got. And you know, it ain't nothing at all. And that's it. I'm like, oh, Brennon, you is tired. You can go home. Go back home, Brennon. So she's upset crying. You know, she's like, you know, I just want you to do more. He's saying sorry. She's like, I don't want you to say sorry. Just be saying sorry. Girl, you should have made your decision day at the dinner like Claire and Cameron. So anyway, we get home. Claire and Cameron looking through their photo book because, you know, that's what they got for the 10-month anniversary thing. And they're sharing the memories. And Claire feels bad that she, you know, kept Cameron in limbo and was being confusing. But ultimately, that was a weird noise. But ultimately, you know, she walked them on outside. And that's it for Claire and Cameron, y'all. And that's where the episode ended. Anyway, y'all, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'll talk to y'all again soon. Bye.